from the pain. A night off, a night off. Ooh, there's so much more to life than tears. There's so much more to life than fears. All I want is a night off. All I need is a night off. All I want is a night off. Ooh. Take it away, take it away, take it away. Do it my way, do it my way, do it my way.
Hello to our Division 1 championships here in Wellington. We've got our Open Division 1 championships, Wellington Wildcats versus Ōtākaro Punters. It's going to be a fantastic game. I'm here on the sideline with our incredible pundits in the box, Blair and Av.
A huge thank you to you, Bergie, for that wonderful intro. And this, the final game of our Opens and Women's season. As you mentioned, the Ōtākaro Punters on your screen at the moment playing out of the light kit. Their opponents, the currently undefeated Wellington Wildcats. Now, Wellington Wildcats have had a huge, really impressive pedigree throughout the last several years of our Division 1 tournaments. This is their first appearance on your stream coverage for the 2025 Ultimate Championships. A game to 15, 90 minutes on the clock.
Super excited to watch this last game of the tournament. We've had a huge 3 days of Ultimate. Make sure you catch up on the live streams that you may have missed on ULTI.TV. As we said, we've got a very seasoned team here, the Wellington Wildcats, obviously making their mark, being previous champions. But we have some new kids on the block, the Ōtākaro Punters, who we've seen a couple of times already on this stream. They've got plenty of depth in their roster. We've seen a few of their players make some fantastic plays and some fast movement on the disc. So looking forward to seeing a really competitive gold medal match.
So the Wildcats, their roster on your screen at the moment, some very, very familiar names to those who have been with us for a number of years. Keddy, Robertson, Whitlock, Hubin, Broughton, Fitzpatrick, T-Top Smith, Elliot Mance, the Kubras.
I just want to highlight Nick Whitlock, who had a smashing campaign with the New Zealand Opens team at the World Ultimate Championships in the Gold Coast just in September. So he's coming off a really big high from that campaign coming into this season.
Speaking of, so he's going to pick up the disc and initiate a great pull from Campbell Nauman to put them right on the end zone. High side flick, finds Hogg, near side now. Nauman tries to get underneath it. Hubin hitting the second gear. Jumps that one in for an early hold for the Wildcats to take them 1-0 over the Ōtākaro Punters.
Really efficient offense to get things started here by the Wildcats. That was a 2-pass offensive score. I'm not sure what broke down in the defense for the Ōtākaro Punters. Really nice high bladey flick, exactly where he wanted it, and then a lovely continuation, meters of separation against his defender. A little bit of communication breakdown, unfortunately, for the Punters for that first defensive point.
And this is Wildcats offense that we've seen. This is Wildcats Ultimate over a number of years. Nice high pace, keeping everything quick, lots of precision, lots of depth in the throws. And it's paying off for them early. Now it's going to be the Wellington Wildcats to come out on defense. Van Turnhout, Sheridan. Robertson with the pull. High outside edge, going to touchdown. Fielded early by Sawyer Blair. Centers to Tavish Dempster. We're seeing a bit of a match defense. Coming back, finds Finn McKenzie. Keddy closes the trap. Recenters to Dempster, marked by Van Turnhout. Pushes far sideline for Chung. Hits Clark on the up line. O'Hara working the midfield space, gets open. The momentum stalls a little bit. Everything's starting to slow down. Some signals, trying to get something moving. O'Hara goes around to Dempster. Van Turnhout on the mark, lets the backhand go. Finds Clark, far sideline, not too far from a score here. McKenzie again.
So the Wildcats using a bit of a forced middle, trying to make Ōtākaro Punters work side to side.
Ollie Taylor with the disc. Cuts through to Chung, but there's going to be a call, something happening in the downfield space. Disc is checked in. Taylor, marked by Sheridan. Resets around center field, finds Blair, comes in low, near side, it's Clark. Half pivot backhand, goes to find O'Hara. It opens up in the downfield, but nothing's happening yet. Blair can't break free, pushes far sideline. Who's underneath it? Big touch on the defense. It's gonna be a turn here. Wildcats with an opportunity. Van Turnhout pushing deep early. Back to Sheridan. Big bite out of Taylor. Recenters to Van Turnhout. O'Hara switching up on defense. Taylor in the front. Robertson now. Big shot. Firing for Keddy in the deep space. McKenzie in hot pursuit. Walked in by Keddy for an early break. Going 2 up over the Ōtākaro Punters.
Milked that for all it was worth, just trotting downfield, allowing that disc to float down. You can see the Wildcat, the spirits are up and about here with True Love. So we see on the replay, really tight defense here, well done on the dump, but in the end, just couldn't keep up. And a big full field flick huck. As you can see, he knew there was no defender in sight, so a nice, easy score in the end, making his twinkle toes go over the line. So some very strong match defense from both sides here. Obviously the Wildcats earning the block and managing a clean conversion to boot to go up 2 love.
Great reception there by Keddy. Wonderful, very familiar connection to those who have been with us for a number of years. It's the kind of combination of names you'll hear spoken quite a few times throughout the course of this match. Robertson with the big full field huck. Wildcats defense again. Sheridan with the disc.
So we'll see if the Punters can reset now. It's never nice going 2 love down in a final. They're going to get another chance to slot a nice hold. We hear the sideline very loud here. Plenty of supporters making this a really fun match to watch.
Francis open in the midfield after a few nice early handler movement. McKenzie can't connect with Blair. Pushes far sideline, finds O'Hara. Little knee slide, keeps it alive. Back to Francis and a 1-2 punch. Back to McKenzie. Eaten up by Taylor, near sideline. Resets around, McKenzie again. Van Turnhout can't get a touch. Goes back, O'Hara, center field, marked by Gardner.
Oh, fantastic
Huge
layouts!
take. Huge take by Blair to keep that one in hand. Big flicks. Van Turnhout with the layout again to get the turn back the other way.
Turning up for the layout turns.
Gardner takes to the skies to pull it down from a high release around from Robertson. Unleashes, looking for Sheridan in the deep space. Clark in pursuit. Clark doesn't even need to get his hands out of his pockets on that one. Enough pressure on the defense to get it back for the Ōtākaro Punters, hoping to swing back the other way.
I think he tried to get a head spike to maybe have a slight chance at the greatest there.
O'Hara with it in center field. McKenzie with a 1-2 step to get inside Robertson's shoulder. Far sideline.
Fantastic block there by 21 of the Wildcats, but it is a foul called and quickly accepted.
Yeah, having drawn enough contact and accepted foul, so Clark will have it to initiate. Continues working, finds Chung, far sideline. Big fakes, gets it to O'Hara. McKenzie loses a couple of yards to get it open on the reset. Gardner in pursuit, can't stop O'Hara getting it. Nice quick backhand to find Blair, far near sideline, right on the edge of the doorstep. Patient offense here from the Ōtākaro Punters, hoping to put it on the board. Gardner with an attempt, but O'Hara's got it.
What an amazing bid from both boys there. Really head-high layout on defense. The disc just behind the intended receiver, but good enough to change direction and leap backwards to reach for the disc. Geez, the Ōtākaro Punters had to work hard for that point, but in the end manages to make a clear hold there.
We'll see it again. Sawyer Blair comes around, finds Morgan O'Hara. Nice quick offload. McKenzie.
Fakes that lefty backhand. Indian goes to flick. He thought that backhand lefty flick was the fake, so he moved to clear out of the space, but the throw in the end does come off, and the defender just a little blindsided while face marking does make it difficult to generate that block here. Oh, and he almost had fingertips on it. Some
incredible stunt work there by O'Hara to put that one on the board and bring it back to a 1-point game. Wildcats offense. Hubin, Hogg, Fitzpatrick, Titov Smith. Fielded by Whitlock early. Some early disc movement. Fitzpatrick pushes to Titov Smith, far sideline, lets it rip. Lewis can't stop it. Nauman underneath, McFarlane in pursuit. Whitlock up over the top. Yes, he does. Hoping to close out to Hogg, and yes, he can. Wildcats with another beautiful hold there to take them up by 2. 3 points in it.
Whitlock climbing up the stairs there, just outread both of the defenders. Pulls it down and calm as you like, slots that assist through to Hogg. The Wildcats certainly stamping their authority of this game, getting up early, making sure the up-and-comers don't get too cocky here. Huge hug here. Whitlock on the receiving end. As you can see, he somehow manages to read that slightly better than the defensive counterparts. And a quick flip to score. So Wildcats easily finding their way through the Punters' defense at the moment. The Punters are going to have to work a little harder to see if they can stop some of this exquisite offensive flow.
Just the timing on that take. Absolutely beautiful to see.
As you can see, the support is here for Ōtākaro on the sideline with their signs. Plenty of voice as well here. The team from Canterbury. First opportunity in a big match like this. A gold medal at stake. Let's see if they can lift.
Thank you. Nice high pull to be fielded early by O'Hara, looking to reset to Tavish Dempster. Sawyer Blair, nice and open, but Robertson closes the gap. Blair has it, far sideline, blades over early, two-hand take by Taylor. Can he get to Clark? No, he can't. The defense is putting on too much pressure. Dempster near sideline, can't get through to Francis. Hoping to keep it to a 1-point game. O'Hara goes around with the lefty backhand. Dempster again, far sideline. Clark cutting under. Short offload to Blair. Comes back around. O'Hara one more time. Keddy on defense. The mustache can't stop it. It's Dempster. Around, Clark's there. Ooh, called out immediately by the Wildcats defense.
The players will have a chat, also wanting to have a look to see if we've got the replay up here. It was a beautiful around backhand delivered, just a little jink move to get away from the defender. And did he have control of the disc? Oh, I think there's some debate about whether the right foot touched the line as he had possession. The left foot did look in after he caught the disc, but hard to tell when he gained possession.
We'll see one more time. Dempster with a little air bounce. It curves around.
That did not look like either his feet has touched the line on the replay, in my opinion. But I think the teammates are trying to get another look.
Just a reminder for the folks watching at home, where technology is available for players to review, that information can only be fed back to their team if it is to the detriment of the player offering that information. Looks like we're going to see the hands go up. Ōtākaro Punters are going to call that one in. Clark with the score to bring it back to a 1-point game.
And the punters on the sideline with their signs will be happy with that score by Ōtākaro Punters. Making sure that they stay in touch. Early in this game, you don't want the opposing team to get on a run. So staying in touch, 3-2 down, 1 break.
A huge cracker of an opening for this final match in the Open Division in the 2025 Ultimate Championships. Wildcats, huge plays, big long throws, lots of pressure on defense, cramming up the middle field, really stifling the Punters' offense. Punters able to break free, finding some opportunities to get a bit dynamic in their own right.
I've been really impressed with the Wildcats and their dump defense in particular. So both teams opting for a pretty standard match defense, but the Wildcats stopping those easy dump resets, which is forcing some high-risk throws and earning them some turns. Oh, that one just lands out of bounds there. Whitlock lets it fall to the ground.
Huge pull by Bryn Douglas, but he can't keep it inbounds. Joel with the disc to bring it in at the brick mark.
So starting with a horror offensive set this time, Wildcats, which makes it easy to both use the under and the deep space. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a big shot go up quickly here.
Leach on the mark, allows it to go around. Titov Smith marked by McFarlane. Back around to Joel. Unable to reset to center field, pushes far sideline, finds Hogg, marked by Douglas. Gets through, unmarked Whitlock. Under no pressure at all. Pushing wide, far sideline. Back to Whitlock again, center field. Fitzpatrick there as support. Babcock O'Neill trying to shut that one down. Whitlock again, no mark.
So a call here will bring about a stoppage, but impressed by the Punters' defense here. They are really forcing the disc just to be swung side to side, not allowing the Wildcats to make many meters.
Quick offload, goes back to Whitlock, center field. Blade shot around, Titov Smith, still McFarlane on defense, winds the hammer, decides not to put it. Moore can't hit the upline, the defense is too much at the moment. Fitzpatrick takes a tumble, gets it through to Whitlock. With a continuation through to Hogg, through contact for the Wildcats score.
I think everyone had stopped thinking there might be some kind of call with that collision and trip, but ultimately Whitlock just recognizes that, play on, there wasn't any call, let's keep it moving, boys. So Wildcats out now 3-2. Sorry, 4-2. Just waiting for that scoreboard to be updated as we see the replay here. Really good defense. I think more of a flat mark from the punters, really forcing that side-to-side movement, forcing a lot of swings in the play. But when you've got such a short field, when you get to the end zone, very difficult to stop all of those spaces at once.
And so 2 points in it at the moment, only one break apart. We're going to see the punters coming out on offense now.
Their sideline support growing in voice and volume, trying to will their boys to earn that break back. You know, the punters aren't playing badly. It's just at the moment the Wildcats are a class above.
And honestly, sometimes that's all it takes. We're going to see a bit of a switch on defense now. Some zone here. The Wildcats trying to change things up, trying to arrest the movement that the punters have been displaying. Dempster gets a hammer to a backpedaling Francis. Swings back to Dempster again. Blair near sideline. Hammer over the top. Two hands for Taylor, trying to put it through to Clark. Can he find him? And how?
That is money. Exactly what the punters were looking for. They really made short work of that zone. The Wildcats front wall working hard side to side, but ultimately weren't able to keep up as we see a lovely celebration there from the punters working together in unison. So you see here the front wall moving side to side with that middle or short deep in that space, but ultimately managing to open up enough holes with the side-to-side movement, enables that hammer over the top, and then a wide open player out the back to finish off in Clark.
As we see this one again, Blair with the hammer over the top. You can see just how close James Bowen got to trying to make a play against Taylor. Peels off to try and cover the deep space afterwards. Robertson not in a great position to get involved, and so Clark with a nice open score to bring it back to a 1-point game.
It's always tricky because as one of the deep defenders, you have to make a split-second decision. Where I go and pressure that pass, or do I play conservative and try and stop the next one? Unfortunately, not working out in his favour this time.
Yeah, because as you say, Avril, if you make that choice and you're wrong, you're out of position. And we saw what happens there in a situation like that. It does open up a bit of a 2v1 in the downfield. Robertson not able to put pressure on the disc or put pressure on Clark as a receiver. So we see the pull go up. Punters defense, huge sprint chase from McFarlane to be the first one down there, supported by Lewis and Worden.
Huge sideline voices here coming from the hill, wheeling the punters to get on the board.
Moore with the disc now. Resetting to Fitzpatrick. Quick give go. Babcock O'Neill applying pressure now. Whitlock with an open under. Lewis flashes the lane. Stops the throw going up. Scuba over the top. Titov Smith far sideline. Muldrew on defense. Fitzpatrick takes the reset. Warden closes the gap. Comes back. Finds center field. Hubin marked by Douglas.
Again, the punters doing well to force the Cats to move side to side.
Whitlock takes it. Lewis can't stop it going up. Titov Smith takes a dive but cannot get there. A huge play, but it's not going to be enough, and the punters now hoping to make their mark on this tournament have a chance here to tie the game.
A dive here, trying to get under that disc, but takes a mouthful of grass to go with it. That was a fantastic bid, but that disc just being pushed a little bit too quickly into the ground, always with a bit of heat. That was going to be tricky, and no surprises, an injury called here as we see some substitutions before we get this point going again.
So it's going to be Van Turnhout to pick up and initiate, or not to initiate, to take the place of Titov Smith to check the disc in. It's going to be Bryn Douglas to pick up for the offense. We're seeing a bit of a vertical stack. The downfield players for the Ōtākaro Punters all gathered in the middle of the field, creating those channels on the far and near sides to give them a lot of space to be able to move things around.
They've set this vert stack with an angle here. and it's a 1-6. So I'm expecting this front play. There we go, cutting from the front spot.
Muldrew has it. They're off to the races. A couple of 1-2s. Babcock O'Neill trying to stretch the field. Enough contact there. Enough interference in the pursuit. We're going to see a bit of a stoppage. Play's going to reset. Sawyer Blair with the disc. Goes around Whitlock. Finds Babcock O'Neill. There's been a violation.
Very helpful hand signals from the boys here indicating a V for violation, which means that there were some players on the field that maybe got moving before the disc was tapped in.
So again, it'll reset. Sawyer Blair with the disc. Marked by Whitlock. Bit more chaotic in the downfield space for the Ōtākaro Punters. Babcock O'Neill resets despite a bidding Whitlock. And a little bit of leapfrog on our near sideline. Goes around to McFarlane, marked by Joe. Back through, far sideline, Bryn Douglas. Van Turnhout, aggressive on defense, comes back, finds the reset. Big steps, trying to get movement. An accepted foul, called immediately. Hubin, Muldrew, going to reset to where they were when that contact occurred. Muldrew on the near side reset. Babcock O'Neill trying to split the midfield. Gets it now. Marked by Hogg. There's enough space. He's got some breathing room. Can get rid of the disc. And another 1-2. Sawyer Blair working hard. Hoping to tie the game here. Goes back around to Babcock O'Neill. A lot of work in the downfield. Douglas gets open. Van Turnhout closes the trap. Hogg back on his feet. It's going to shut down the continuation down the far sideline. 1-2.
The continuation cutters for Ōtākaro are very, very far away, just allowing this handler set to evolve in that triangle and square.
McFarlane with the disc now. Not a lot of options. Manages to find Lewis. The foot flash from Van Turnhout. Going to discourage it. Sending them back. Finding the midfield. Hogg on defense. Can't stop Lewis. We're seeing some great switching from the Wildcats. On the doorstep, one pass away. Douglas clearing out to try and create some space. Lewis dropping over the top of two defenders from the Wildcats. Jack Lewis. Wildcats not going to beat the face marking allegations on that one.
Wow, what incredible patience by the Punters against some tenuous defense here. Just working it slowly through their handler sets, using their legs to work upfield, generate some movement from the back. Ultimately, just gets caught out, poaching a little bit, expecting that upline throw, but not to be. A little slip over the top, manages to break. And we are back on serve here. The Punters not down and out here. They have turned up to play, taking a punt on that high release backhand for the score.
25 passes for that possession for the Punters. Huge amounts of disc movement, more than twice that the Wellington Wildcats made in their own possession on that point coming out on offense. So forcing a turn after 12 passes, making that many passes twice and change before being able to put it away. Lewis with a great score for the Ōtākaro Punters to put us back on serve. Wildcats on the back foot for the first time in the match.
Interestingly, both breaks from both sides have been perfect conversions. So once the defense have earned possession, they haven't turned it over again.
Joel centre field, marked by Leach. Whitlock available as the support. Fitzpatrick on the upline, marked by Muldrew. Little slow to develop, manages to get it away to Whitlock anyway. Worden on defense, laser show up the sideline to Hubin. Campbell Nauman on defense, can't stop it, going back to Fitzpatrick. Hubin open in the centre field, at about the halfway mark. Big bid by Whitlock, Worden intervenes, is going to be a foul called.
I think there's a foul called by both players, actually. So we can see here on the replay, inside backhand here, just a little bit sideways. And so both bidding boys here getting horizontal, and then just a little bit of a trip and land. Plenty of body contact.
Yeah, would be... It's a bit of a tough one to call. It was falling behind Whitlock, I think. So whether or not he had to change his line in order to get that. So he's on the outside. He's curving back in front of Worden, who's holding a line.
Yeah, I agree. I think Whitlock was out of position. Really, I mean, the throw wasn't to his advantage, but I think the defender there also did really well to position himself and get his body on the inside shoulder. That's really smart defense by Worden. And retracted call there, so I believe the turn will stand, and the boys have talked it out.
Really well resolved by both teams. So yes, the turnover will stand. It's McFarlane with the disc marked by Joel. That same zoney defense, Fitzpatrick shutting down the second option. Muldrew, his centering reset, looked off. Falls a little short. Second attempt's not going to come through. Broughton secures that one.
There's a foul here. So play will stop and another discussion ensues. This high release here. Both boys going up, and number one, I think there, Shaden McFarlane, saying that his second bid was impeded perhaps by Joe. It was difficult because we had a lot of bodies there trying to save the scraps. So whether or not he would have actually had some decent position to make a bid, I'm unsure.
So it is good to see these players are having the conversation. They're taking the time to make sure that their viewpoints are communicated. Reminder for the folks watching at home, Ultimate is a self-officiated sport. It's up to the players to learn the rules, to make the calls, to resolve them themselves. Looks like it's going to go back. So Muldrew is going to have the disc.
So contested foul means that the players essentially agree to disagree, and the disc goes back to the last clear possession, which is why we see Ōtākaro maintaining possession here with Muldrew to get things going again. And the players just working out what position on field they were when the stoppage occurred. Fakes the high release, but goes across in a nice little reach behind to grab the disc.
Leach to McFarlane, pushing the far sideline. Joe on defense, centering pass back to Leach. Inside break to Lee. Nauman, laser show, looking for Muldrew in the deep. Cooper instead is going to be a score. A second break there for the Punters to put them up for the first time in the match.
Number 66 steals it from under the nose of 55. The double digits teaming up together in that deep space. 2 breaks in a row, although interestingly with a couple of calls and stoppages. Unsurprisingly, there has been a timeout call trying to hold momentum. Wildcats not wanting the Ōtākaro Punters to get on a break train, as we see here. Some lovely quick disc movement, not waiting for the stall count to rise. The defenders already out of position, as you can see here. And it was the Punters disc all day, as we see them with some high spirits coming into this huddle.
So great work there by Coop Doggy Dog over the Wildcats there to take the lead. We're going to see a timeout called, and a relatively close game to see it. There haven't been big swings in momentum, although considering Ōtākaro Punters have had 2 back-to-back breaks, it might be a good time for the Wellington Wildcats to take a second, and figure out what kind of adjustment they want to make.
And statistically, pretty even, 3 clean holds apiece here. And as we said, the perfect conversions have gone very well with the defensive lines getting possession on a disc and pretty much always converting. So the D-lines will be very pleased with their performance here. As we see the supporters here on the sideline enjoying a lovely day here down in Upper Hutt. They are enjoying some fantastic Frisbee. Perfect conditions, really. Uncharacteristic. Wellington known for its windy weather, but we've had relatively still days here for all days of the tournament. Some wet weather to start off day one, but has been a very pleasant conditions for our teams here today.
And I think at the moment that's really working in the punters' favour. We've seen the Wellington Wildcats come down with a really oppressive zone, trying to force the punters to use the width of the field, hoping to just force a string of passes and hopefully generate a turn. But in the absence of wind, the punters have demonstrated they have the depth of throws to be able to go up and overhead. We've seen some hammers, some overhead shots. That's what they're using to break the zone, and so it'll be interesting to see whether the Wildcats can come out with something that can maybe shut that down.
And this is what they're playing for. The winner will be etched on that Memorial Shield. Champions for another year. As we see here, a big pull with the punters. I'm sure they've got some juicy defense cooking up, forcing the Wildcats back in their defending end zone.
Bit of match, a touch, not enough. Great attempt by Lee, but Hogs are going to come down with it. It's Sheridan now to Whitlock. Worden clogging the lane. Some switchy defense. Whitlock again, he's everywhere. Hooban, far sideline, marked by Babcock O'Neill. Whitlock pushes into the upline space. Sheridan to Broughton. Muldrew marking the downfield. Sheridan with the big shot, looking for Hooban. Comfortable take to tie the game.
Just what the Wildcats needed. After 2 breaks straight, their O-line having to get settled, make sure they got a nice clean hold, really nice movement. Saw Whitlock initially starting in the backfield, working the disc well. In the end, spreading the defense enough to find some holes. There was some nice defensive switching here, just trying to tame those big throws. They stopped the first few looks, but ultimately just snuck out the back despite 2 defenders there applying pressure. Hooban there, good enough to take it down for the Wildcats.
Great take by Hooban. And now, Wildcats to come out on defense. Really nice string of passes there to put that one on the board. Now they've got to come down, apply defensive pressure. Punters have shown their past 3 scores where they had that hold in the 2 back-to-back breaks, they did not give the disc up. And so, all things being considered, punters holding here, if they can do it clean, they'll maintain that lead. So this is a necessary defensive moment for the Wildcats if they want to maintain the championship.
Hear the sideline cheers, they're excited. It is a tight one. Unexpectedly, perhaps the punters up a break against the Wildcats. Again, a nice big pull to get things started.
Dempster pushing far sideline, finds Chung. Little shimmy, hits McKenzie, far sideline again, pinned down. Blair pressures the upline, fades back into the upfield to get the reset. Maintaining a really good sense of position and momentum. Taylor engaged, hits the inside, can't connect. Jadeja gonna help pressure that one for the turn.
And the Wildcats will be licking their lips, trying to level this.
Robertson with the big hammer. Chung can't stop it. It's Van Bergen with the take.
And just like that, they earn possession, and it is a 1-throw score for the Wildcats to claw it back level.
We're gonna see that again. Big hammer goes up. And comes down, Van Bergen with it to give Wildcats back the lead, having answered with a break of their own. We're back on serve.
Robertson didn't look for any option bar the hammer. I think the punters are a little surprised that that went up. They were certainly not expecting that move to be made. Always difficult to defend the break side of the field. You are not really set up downfield to protect that space. And it was really a pretty big hammer, pretty much half field to seal the deal there. Now back on serve. Cheers from the away sideline for Ōtākaro. So the sideline always having their boys' backs here. They've seen them break these Wildcats a couple of times. They'll be keen to see another one. But first, a clean hold on the menu for the Punters.
Great pull from Robertson to be fielded early. Quick centering pass. Big shot goes up, looking for McKenzie. Finds him comfortably. Francis continues.
Punters not to be outdone. Also a very efficient hold there. Only 3 passes required. We see McKenzie getting plenty of separation on that play. And that was close to a full field flick. Huck just settles, waits that little jink backwards for the score. And the Punters are certainly pleased with that play.
McKenzie doing a good job to kind of direct the pursuing defense's attention, pushing them towards the center field where Francis was just parked up stationary on the far sideline for an easy score to retie the game.
So we are closing in on half, almost 39 minutes on the timer at the moment. It's been some pretty efficient offense, which has made the game go very quickly, as we can see the Punters coaching team discussing on the side how they might be able to penetrate through this Wildcats offense. Punters with plenty of wind in their sails and confidence, knowing that they have already broken this own line twice, and just a matter of time before another opportunity awaits.
Sheridan finds Hogg near sideline. Quick re-centering pass. Defense not really doing much to arrest it at the moment. Leach can't stop it, going back to Theo Moore near sideline. Back to center field. Aggressive cuts, getting enough separation, but maybe the source of that separation was a result of a pick in the downfield.
Just playing pretty standard offense in a vertical stack. You can see really tight one-on-one match as we have a violation and we will get things reset.
Players trying to make moves before the disc has been brought back in.
So you can see the Punters here setting up match defense, very small buffers, backing themselves and their speed to make sure they keep their opponents in reach.
Worden marking Fitzpatrick now. Whitlock getting involved. Nauman forcing towards the near sideline. Can't stop the Blady forehand to Joe. To Sheridan again. Can't get around. The big foot flash from Leach, enough to stop it. Fitzpatrick with a 1-2 offload. Goes back around. In motion to Joe. McFarlane closes. Finds the center field Sheridan. Blades around. Finds Whitlock. Sheridan to Joe for the score. Wildcats 1 away from half.
It's really just classic ultimate at the moment. One-on-one matchups. The Wildcats at the moment just managing to beat their one-on-one defense. I did notice, as we see the replay here, just a Blady shot here to Whitlock opens things up. Drags that defender across. And they do a little switch here just to make sure they contain, but I don't think the switch happened quick enough to close down that channel here with the flick. So I think the Punters doing well to stifle the offense initially, but just unable to keep up for the duration of the whole point. That timing of the turn and the cut there by Joe, perfect for the score from Sheridan.
Hogg for the Wildcats, 2 goals and an assist already. The score is only 7-6. Tyler Hogg has been involved in 3 of those. Great opening performance for the final match in the 2025 Ultimate Championships. We're going to see the hand up. McKenzie is ready for the Punters to kick things off. Still waiting for the Wildcats to clear the field.
And I'm sure both teams will be looking to try to get a break before the half. Going into half with some momentum can be really key to really push the pedal down towards the second half of this game. If the Punters hold here, that will make it 7-7. Wildcats looking to try and earn a break opportunity to take the half 8-6.
Mackenzie cutting early. Dempster trying to push to the near sideline, looking for O'Hara. An immediate call out, looking like the foot.
And having a look at the close-up shot here, that one, the foot was just out of frame. But on this one, you can probably see whether his foot was on the line. Difficult because there are both white and black lines painted on the grass.
Looks like they're going to call that one a turn, and so Van Turnhout to pick up and initiate for the Wildcats. Finds Robertson. Blair, hands high, trying to stop the hammer. Opens up a little bit of room, uses the breathing space to reset to Van Turnhout. We're going to see a timeout call.
And the Punters applauding that timeout. You've got to take the small wins when you can. You know that you are a little bit in your opponent's heads when they are the ones calling a timeout in the middle of the point, clearly not happy with the options presented. So a really key point to earn a break opportunity. As we said, you want some momentum going into half. So you're up 7-6. You've got the disc in your possession for your D-line, looking to have a smooth, clean conversion here, the Wildcats.
Now, ULTI.TV's friend Rachel Siahani Royal, who we've had in the booth last week at the Division 2 Ultimate Championships and who we've seen on our screens in one of the women's division matches playing for Kākahi. Not a huge fan of the statistics on timeouts being called mid-point. Generally, timeouts being called at the conclusion of a point gives the teams an opportunity to consolidate. Timeouts called in the middle of the point leans a little heavy in favor of turnovers really soon after play resumes. So we'll see how that resolves in just a couple of moments.
Saying again, though, like, obviously you want to get the break, but, you know, if you do turn it over, it's still on serve. Like, you know, it's 7-6 and it's on serve. So, I mean, yeah, sure, if they turn it, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world necessary for the Wildcats.
I guess the major consequence, Avril, is the fact that for these tournament rules, each team only has 2 timeouts for the entire game. So using one now and not being able to generate momentum from it has kind of more of a long-term loss.
That is true. And burning a timeout now, you know, sometimes we use the timeouts for different reasons, right? You might want to give your line a breather, or you might actually want to call a strategic line with specific personnel. So losing that opportunity for a timeout can sometimes be detrimental, like you said, Blair, because you don't have that ability to make those fast decisions when the game is on the line.
And so we'll see how this resolves. The Wildcats offense already set. The defense setting in response. In
a standard vert stack with 2 back and 5 downfield, we can see a little poach out in the lane there. Wanting to call the switches on defense, the Punters. They managed to cover the first couple of looks.
Ketty and Van Turnhout doing a lot of work early. Dempster on defense. Van Turnhout finds Robertson. There's a foul called.
And there is some chat about the positioning there. Some very fashionable sunnies to go alongside a bright pop of colour in the hat there. Okay, so it's a foul called by the mark here. Dempster not happy with the contact received from Van Turnhout. So Van Turnhout.
Play's going to stand. Robertson can't connect with Van Turnhout. Sawyer Blair to pick up.
We were talking about statistically, there's going to be going as per the stats with that turnover. Now Punters with a chance to hold.
Chung takes to the skies, pulls it down. Over Ketty, resets to O'Hara. Van Bergen on defense. Puts the shot up, looking for Chung. Finds him.
The punters celebrating hard for that very valuable hold. Brings it up to 7-7, and we will have a Galaxy point to finish the first half in this men's gold medal match.
The stats don't lie, folks. A turnover by the Wildcats at a crucial moment give the punters an opportunity to take half.
And so the Wildcats, so that was their D-line's third opportunity at breaking, and only the first time that the D-line have actually lost possession after gaining it. So the punters clearly stepping up the pressure level and managing to earn the disc back, as we see some supporters here on the sideline making sure they are supporting the young'uns here. I'm sure they will be looking forward to featuring in some of these big tournaments in the near future.
So yeah, just interesting to see that, as you say, that it's the first time the Wildcats have given the disc back. So huge offensive precision from both of these teams at the moment. When there are turns, we're seeing teams capitalize. And it all comes down to this moment right now. Joe finds Sheridan with a tumble. McFarlane doesn't even need to get a hand in there. An opportunity only about 15 meters in front of their end zone. Lewis is going to pick up.
He spent that disc before he had it. It popped up a little higher than expected. He was looking for the next option before he had it secured. So punters here, Galaxy point with a chance to break into half.
Lewis trying to get initiation from Cooper. Goes around, finds him. Not a lot opening up for them. Still looking towards center field. We're going to see. Hands up in the deep space, looking for something overhead, but some contact.
So the game now punctuated with a couple of calls and stoppages and discussion. And that is a lovely wide pivot to get around the mark there. And you can see the defenders closing in, really prioritizing that dump set.
We're back into it. Cooper, huge amount of bounce. Snatched out of the sky by Whitlock to the surprise of nobody. Who's going to walk it back up to the front of the end zone. Babcock O'Neill on the mark. Whitlock unleashes the bomb, looking for Hobart. Calm as you like it. A one-pass return, full field for the score as the Wildcats take half.
And that is ridiculous by Nick Whitlock. Just had the better read on the last line of defense. Calmly walks up to the line. That is literally a full field backhand huck to the advantage of the receiver. Unfortunately, McFarlane chasing, but there was no coming back from that. So interestingly, both D-lines having 3 opportunities to break and not converting a perfect break. Both D-lines to finish this half.
Huge work there. We are going to be back in just a little bit, but an opportunity to look here again. 3 assists for Whitlock with a huge block. Some great work by both of these sides. Wellington Wildcats with a bit of a hometown advantage, but still anybody's game, only a single point in it. Wildcats started on offense. We're going to see the punters out to receive the disc. A clean offensive hold to start the half is going to see them keep the game tied. We are on serve, and it's just about the individual moments. And for more of those moments, we're going to be back pretty soon. My name is Blair Munro.
Avril Tam signing out.
Keep watching.
I know the reason why we chose to say goodbye, but I can't help my feelings. Right now, I can't deny you never left my mind, and now my heart is bleeding. Why did I have to break it up? Guess I was just a young girl Can we turn that bye into hello? I know how to love you now. No matter what I do, I can't let go. I don't know how to forget you. I can't forget you. You're always on my mind. I do the things that I should do, so I can't forget, but you're always on my mind. Thought you'd be gone by tomorrow, but you're still there tomorrow, and the next day, the next day. I wish I wouldn't remember how you make me feel better in the best ways, the best ways. Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you.
And folks, we are back for the second half of our Open Division final. The 2025 New Zealand Ultimate Championships here in our Kairangi Park. My name is Blemin Roy. I'm joined by Avril Tam. It is only a 1-point game. Teams have been trading. There have been some really clean holds, some aggressive defensive pressure leading to breaks, but there's only 1 point in it. Wildcats currently up.
As you said, Blair, even with the stats here, same number of breaks, same number of turns, the clean holds, Wildcats just getting one over the Punters, which means they are up on the scoreboard here. But we are on serve because the Punters will be starting the half on offense. So if they continue the trend in the last part of the first half and hold, they will bring things level to 8-8. As we said at the beginning of the stream, the Ōtākaro Punters, this is their first time, and we see this big crowd support. Oh, not a good look there for the Crutches, but plenty of time post-season to recover there. As we said earlier, this is the Punters' first time in the gold medal match, and I think they've been doing really well to keep it up with the well-established Wildcats. Remember, earlier in this tournament, the Wildcats only got over the Punters 14-12 on day one. So I'm sure that both teams will be expecting a tightly fought game.
Wildcats players clearing the line, leaving just the 7. We're going to take a moment on the field. Robertson with the disc to pull. We see Titov Smith off on injury at the moment. Done some fantastic work. Huge bid in the end zone. Looks like he won't be returning to the field. It's a shame to see such a dynamic player who does such a great job in the offensive handler space for the Wildcats.
Yeah, he'll certainly be missed, and you can hear the competing sideline as well. The Ōtākaro Punters going up with a big cheer, but the Wellington Wildcats also coming down with a big cheer of their own and pinned to the defensive end zone.
McKenzie recentering to O'Hara. To Sawyer Blair, marked by Whitlock. McKenzie, midfield, marked by Keddy. A wide open Francis. Van Turnhout slowly closes the trap. Foot flash to stop the upline Huck. McKenzie losing a couple of yards, a bit of a give-go, finds Chung. It's Patrick closing the jaws, pressuring the disc now. McKenzie goes wide, finds Taylor. Match defense from the Wildcats, doing a good job of slowing the Punters' momentum. A travel called by Keddy on McKenzie. The disc's going to go back.
Yeah, I don't know about those travel calls. I think, look, if it didn't affect play on. But clearly, the Wildcats just making sure that everything is followed to a T in the rulebook as they push the Punters backwards to move forwards. As you said, the stifling match defense doing well to contain the Punters, force them to move side to side. Oh, what a layup.
Take by McKenzie. Good grief. Just off the turf. Then a quick fire back to find Taylor. O'Hara getting out in front of Bowen. Puts a blade up, looking for Chung. Finds the ground.
And
in his mind, you could see that he was celebrating before he had both hands to it.
And that was coming sharp and fast. That outside in shape, blading into the chest of Chung. Gosh, that was a real heartbreaker for him in such a big match to boot. We'll see what the Punters can do on defense, try and earn it back. We can see Whitlock going for a long cut, but this time not rewarded.
Owen trying to pressure his way into the under space. Couldn't get there. Past Sawyer Blair. And Turnhout has the disc for the Wildcats. Disc is checked in. Francis flares off, tries to stop the big shot. Chips through, finds Sheridan. Taylor's there. Pushes far sideline. Whitlock back to center field to find Sheridan. Taylor takes a big bite.
So the Punters doing a forced middle. So this is why you're seeing a lot of the side-to-side movement. Once the disc gets to the sideline, they're forcing it back to come infield. I think hoping to generate a block just with the sheer volume of throws that the Wildcats are needing to complete.
Robertson has it. Manages to get the break, pushes to the far sideline. A backslide, slide cancel, something by Whitlock.
Whitlock just wanting that point to be over quickly, trying to use his feet. So here we see him. He makes the catch here. And difficult to tell from this angle whether his feet were inbounds or whether it caught a side of the black line. And they are calling it a goal. So Wildcats off to a big start for this first half with an immediate clean conversion on breakpoint.
Beautiful work by the Wildcats, necessary for them, having a 2-point lead. We'll see one more time.
So in the end, that forced middle, not being able to contain that continuation. And in the end, Whitlock with the score to finish that point off. So Ōtākaro Punters, that force middle not quite working as they had hoped. We'll see if they can perhaps generate some other defensive opportunities, but first step is to try and get a clean hold on the board for this second half.
"62 minutes into our 90-minute soft cap, a game to 15. Still anybody's game. Wildcats only have a 2-point advantage. They're coming out now on defense. They are up on breaks. Punters need a hold and a break to put them back on serve. It's possible. We've seen them do it before. That disc is not coming back in. So an opportunity here for the Punters to bring it in from the sideline or from the brick mark. We haven't seen a brick call just yet, I don't think.
They are setting up for one, though, so Punters see what they can do. I mean, Wildcats have been sticking with a match defense for most of this game, so see where they can expose those gaps.
Dempster goes to Sawyer Blair. Pushes far sideline for Taylor. Kubra, aggressive on defense, but allows it to go back to McKenzie. O'Hara runs it down. Keddy on the mark. Around to Francis. Van Bergen there on defense. Lefty backhand through to Sawyer Blair with a bit of air bounce to Dempster. First point of contact out of bounds is going to be a turn and a chance here for Wildcats to widen the score. And Turnhout goes to Sheridan. Clark tries to bid. Finds Kitty near sideline. Some fakes. Can't get the disc away. Centers it. Debster on defense. No hat now.
Again, switching forces. It's force middle. And an overthrow there by the Wildcats. They let Punters off here. They did well this time, that switching defense generating a high-risk shot, narrowing that window down as the Punters look to work their way fully up the field.
Really great work by O'Hara on that one there to kind of keep shoulder to shoulder with Van Bergen, stopping him from getting a chance to adjust his line. Great defensive pressure there, and it's McKenzie through the middle.
Oh.
Overthrown, intercepted. Bowen back to Van Turnhout, finds Kitty at the halfway mark. Van Turnhout, it's well within his range now. A lot more physicality than we've seen throughout the course of the tournament.
So foul called. I think the mark, Turnout saying that the mark was infringing. And the disc is not back in. The dump defense, bringing a high stall count.
Kitty marked by Francis. Far sideline recenters. Sheridan with a mid-bounce forehand to Van Bergen. Kitty has it through to Van Turnhout for the score and a second break in the half.
Wildcats will be pleased with that one. That is 2 breaks to start this half. They are running away with this game. Ōtākaro Punters are going to have to find something in the bag here to slow them down. I do like the switch up into the force middle look, but when you are so close to the end zone, it just exposes that middle space way too much. As you see here, just a little shimmy there and shake, and Turnout gets the goal. So that force middle, perhaps a better strategy when you are a little bit further away from your defending end zone, but when it's short like that, almost impossible to stop. I think they're going to rethink the strat on that end zone defense.
But they have to play defense first. We're going to see a timeout called here. An opportunity to maybe discuss some of those exact same changes that you were just talking about, Avril, what kind of things they need to address. I think you're absolutely right. The closer they are to the end zone, the harder it is for that force middle defense to prove effective against Wildcats, who are used to making those little jinky cuts, really that almost sort of phone booth cuts, 1-2 steps to really generate that space to close things out. Yeah,
I think offensively, both of the teams have really been going for a standard vert stack, whether it's 2-5 or 1-6. So maybe setting a horror or, I don't know, a side stack, or something just a little bit different to mix up the looks, because the Wildcats defense are looking really solid. They're generating the turns and then really punishing them on the conversion.
Wildcats on your screen at the moment, already having broken the huddle. O'Hara, who's done some phenomenal work for the Punters all weekend, currently 1 goal, 1 assist in this game.
I think also the body language now starting to kind of change as well for the Punters. Previously, they were still very vocal, heads up, body language, really shoulders back, but, you know, starting to fade a little bit here. I think end of a 3-day tournament's always tough, and when you've had some mentally challenging battles as well in games, it's difficult to summon that last bit of reserve, as a lovely floaty pull lands here for the Punters to get started.
Zone defense by the looks from Wildcats, hoping to generate a turn early. Clark to Blair. Dempster supported by O'Hara. The zone swarming, swirling, not giving them a lot of opportunities, but opening up the width for them. The far sideline active now. Dempster trying to get involved. Gets it back, recentering, trying to get a shift from Jadeja. Finds Taylor far sideline, marked by Van Turnhout, nice and active. Manages to break back to centre field for O'Hara. Quick offload to Taylor. Not enough pressure on the defense. Allows him to go back to O'Hara. Coming wide. Finds Chung. Up and around. Mackenzie, who's done some great work for the Punters over the last few days. Dempster again. Signaling for a clear and cut on that front corner. It's too crowded. Scoobers up over the top for Mackenzie. Van Turnhout with a big bid, but a fraction of a second too late, and it's going to be a clean hold. 16 passes for the Ōtākaro Punters, but enough for them to put it away.
Exactly what the Punters needed here. Very patient with the disc. Initially, we saw the Wildcats start off with a zone defense, really slowing the disc movement down. Collapse to match now, and in the end, just that acceleration of that cut into the front cone exposes the space out the back. And Mackenzie does well to secure that catch despite a defender hot behind, steps approaching. O'Hara, I think, really doing well in that handler set, paired with Dempster there, who ends up with the assist and the over-the-top scuba. So Ōtākaro, their supporters out in force. We see Mackenzie here, 1 goal and 2 assists there, getting involved in plenty of the offensive scores for the Punters.
So with 2 points in it, Wildcats offense, they've shown. In fact, just looking at it now, Wildcats on offense have only given the disc away 3 times over across the entire course of the game. 2 of those were able to be converted to breaks by the defense. 1 of them wasn't. So there's not a lot of mistakes in the offensive game.
There's not much margin when the games are this close. I'd love to see the Punters come out with a zone defense. They've scored, so they've had time to actually try and set up a specific play here. So far, the Wildcats have just moved the disc way too quickly and way too efficiently. We saw a couple of almost full field hucks and full field hucks for scores. So can they set some kind of zone or a bracket play or something just to slow the Wildcats down?
Looks like they're going to be sticking to a match defense, though. Sheridan with the disc. Goes wide, finds Hogg. Babcock O'Neill on the mark. Sheridan takes it, center field, goes around Lewis to Whitlock.
Very vocal sideline, helping out the defense. That 8 defender almost.
Sheridan to Hogg again, slipping through the Punters defense. Fitzpatrick, wide, Sheridan, he's everywhere. Marked by Lewis. Center field to Hoban. A little bit of contact on the disc there. Gets it away to Whitlock. Fitzpatrick coming back to Phil. Goes around. Sheridan with the layout. Keeps it in hand.
Again, the Punters have opted for this forced middle. Risky play.
Sheridan doing everything except getting the score, which is Theo Moore for the reception. A great dominator offense there, really driven by Ryan Sheridan. Now, Ryan Sheridan, who is also doing some great work coaching in the Hutt Valley area. We saw their Hutt Valley High women's team playing incredibly well in the secondary school championships only about a week and a half ago.
As we see here, just exposed, a bit of miscommunication with the defenders, a completely open player just in the corner of the end zone there. The Punters can't let too many more of those options go if they're going to come back in this game. Sheridan now with 3 assists, just such a clean distributor for the Wildcats. Like you said, the offense line haven't given the disc up very much, and that only really happened in the first half, so the second half looking very clean for the Wildcats O-line.
Absolutely, and Sheridan being involved in more than a quarter of the Wildcats' points during this game. Still looking at a race to 15. Wildcats up by 3 to come out on defense one more time. Robertson with the disc again to pull.
Just making sure they've got their desired matchups here. I suspect we'll be seeing another point of stifling match defense.
A lot of floats, going to give them a chance to get down. Jadeja early with the foot speed, coming in close. Can't stop the first pass. O'Hara to Dempster. We see Sawyer Blair pushing deep. Comes back earlier. Travel called.
So the Wildcats pretty nitpicky with some of these travel calls. As I said earlier, not sure that they really affected the play too much, but I guess perhaps wanting to slow the flow down.
And as easy as it is to say from the booth, if you're playing honest defense, your eyes probably aren't on the feet of the thrower.
Yeah, he was certainly in the middle there, poaching, ready for that huck to come off.
Blair gets a bite out of Leishman, puts the backhand up, looking for Chung, but it fades. A layout a second too late. It's not going to be at great territory, but they can't afford to keep giving the disc back to the Wildcats.
Was asking a lot of Chung. There was quite a bit of outside in shape on that, with the breeze gusting up a little, also forcing that disc away from Chung. Way too much ground to have to make up. So Wildcats, another chance for their third break this half.
Scooped up by Van Turnhout, marked by Dempster. Robertson breaking free. The bullet goes up, looking for Leishman. Nobody's there for him. Bowen makes an upline cut, looked off in favor of a reset to Keddy. He's shimmering, he's shaken. Van Turnhout to Robertson for the score as Wildcats go 3 points away from a win.
Wildcats with the wild celebrations here. That is 3 breaks for this half. They are running away quickly with this game. Just way too smooth on offense, even though the Punters able to shut down those initial few looks, but not having coverage on those deep options. Then knocking on the doorstep, it's an easy little dishy through for the score. So Punters having to work hard now, both to hold on offense, but also somehow trying to earn the disc and the possession back, limit these long options by the Wildcats. So lots of local support here from the Wellington crowd. They want to see another championship, stay local. Home ground advantage, as we said. Sometimes the energy on the sideline makes a big difference to the energy on field.
Looks like we're going to see another timeout being called here.
That must be both timeouts used per team by now, Blair.
But again, you can't take them with you. Wildcats only 3 points away from walking away with a win at the end of the season. There's not that much time left in the game. Especially when you're looking at the kind of momentum Wildcats have at the moment, where 5 points in to the second half, 3 of those points have been defensive breaks and converted breaks for the Wildcats. So they're really getting their claws into the second half. They're trying to run away with it. 1 goal, 1 assist for Van Turnhout on screen at the moment. But as I say, there's not that much time left in the game if punters want to make a stand.
Yeah, I wonder what they've got brewing here for the timeout, whether it's a personnel change or just trying to reset some of their offensive structures to get another clean hold. We saw the stats. Clean holds is 6-5, so when they're clean, they're good, but it's just those couple of chances that they're giving up on offense, and the Wildcats are taking full advantage.
Robertson, who has been doing the bulk of the pulling work for the Wildcats defensive side, but still with a goal and 3 assists to his name. The consistency in his pulls, the wind up, the run up, the release.
Oh, and that was a first throw bid on defense, getting big. Wildcats wanting to finish this game early.
Huge bladey up to Taylor. Clark clearing out, trying to stretch the downfield. O'Hara has it again. Bowen a little more conservative now. Francis with the reset. Finds Sawyer Blair near sideline. McKenzie to Clark. Faking. We see Keddy's hands in the way. Huge bid there. Not going to be enough from Van Bergen. Goes wide. Sawyer Blair with a laser show. A great take there on the up line into the front corner space by Ollie Taylor to put them back in the game.
Beautiful work by the Punters there for a clean hold. Clean holds now 6 apiece for both teams. They are certainly not letting their heads drop. You can see the energy, trying to will each other through to the end of this game. Some lovely use of some bladey throws here. Pinpoint, well received here.
That was the throw that really opened up that point for the Punters offense.
Absolutely. I think we expect a lot of those open shots to come up, but when they make use of some of those break side or the unexpected spaces, that's when the defense are completely out of position, enables that throw and go there. So maybe being a little bit more creative with the spaces that they're using for the Punters, that's their way to get some more easy offensive scores.
Well, I mean, I think that's the peril, right? You have these two teams who are coming together in the finals. They're incredibly well drilled. One of the benefits, and I suppose a double-edged sword of being so well drilled, is you're expecting to see conventional offensive movement. And so the moment you have a team who breaks that convention, doing that at the right time with the right level of energy, can really crack a game wide open.
I guess at the moment the Wildcats are very, very comfortable. You know, don't fix what ain't broke. They're just working their conventional offense, beating their matchup, getting that open side space. And so for the Punters, it's about how to make them uncomfortable. We've seen them bring out that force middle defense a fair bit with varying levels of success.
Whitlock with it now. And as you say, Avril, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But in this half, the only thing getting broken is the Punters offense. Whitlock trying to hit the half pivot backhand, decides against it, goes back to find Sheridan. Theo Moore. Back to Sheridan again, McFarlane. Aggressive on the defense. Moore hits the up lane.
Oh, that's a huge bid there by number 9, Lee.
Joe has it. Laser throw through to Whitlock, who rolls back to his feet. Hobbs got it.
And on his knees, Hobbs. Very happy with that score. So again, that force middle. So the Punters managing to force that initial disc into the middle space where they hopefully have more defenders. But the problem is, once the Wildcats punch through 1-2, the defenders haven't had time to readjust. And that's when, you know, it looks like an easy score because they just haven't had enough time to get around to defend that other corresponding space once the force switches. As we see here, looking for that lovely inside. That was a beautiful shot and caught with plenty of heat on Whitlock there. And the defender just caught out of position, not realizing that the disc had come to this side and the force had switched. So requires a lot of key communication from their teammates and from the sideline to be able to anticipate that change in force.
Knowledge is power, as they say. And so, Wildcats currently up by 4, 2 points away from a win to come out on defense. We're going to see Robertson again with the disc, doing a huge amount of pulling duty, not just over the course of this game, but over the course of the tournament as well.
Tyler Hogg now with 3 goals and 1 assist for the Wildcats. They've had a really good distribution of goal scorers across the board. So certainly a team effort in this big final, and that's an unfortunate one.
O'Hara getting nutmegged there, having to run a Dave Sanders circle cut to catch up to that disc.
And Wildcats putting on a zone this time. So changing something up, trying to slow things down, see if they can force an early turn and a short field.
Francis doing some good work in the midfield, trying to break through the zone, giving those handlers options. O'Hara, Blair, McKenzie. Taylor on the near sideline. That Blady option again, finds Blair, same work, using those creative throws to break the zone. It's McKenzie now. Another one, like DJ Khaled always asks for. We're going to see it. O'Hara, back to Blair. Quick shots, firing back.
Lovely 1-2 movement, quick disc movement, forcing the defense to move. I want to see more of this from the Punters.
Absolutely. Sawyer Blair again. O'Hara doing some great job changing the direction of the momentum. It's kept in by Mackenzie. Kitty can't quite get a touch. Sawyer Blair again, firing off the left hand. Taylor right there on the doorstep. Is the upline going to be there for it? Francis, no. Blair, no. O'Hara available as a reset. Puts it deep for Francis. Yes! There it is, the Punters. Double digits. It's a 3-point game.
26 passes required to secure that offensive hold for the Punters. They are up and going. Punters passing, charging through for that clean hold. Plenty of patience here by the boys. And just this tiny give-go movement. I actually really like the look. They look really powerful when they're generating some movement from behind. A lot of the time, the Punters handlers have been quite happy to sit back and just expecting the thrower to hit them in that backspace. But when they actually generate movement coming from behind, that's when it really puts the Wildcat defenders off balance. And that's when they're generating some really nice give-goes, really nice continuation and flow. So I know they like to play some of that big play, big long hucks, conventional open side. But hey, a little bit of give-go movement, kind of a la the Japanese style or the Singaporean style. That might be the thing which can earn them a break back.
So really great performance. These are the Punters that we've seen throughout the course of the tournament up until this point. Hoping to put a bit more impact on this half. 3 points in it. McFarlane with the disc. Sheridan again, an absolute workhorse for the Wildcat side. Joel goes around, finds Theo Moore. Muldrew on defense. Fitzpatrick center field. Marked by Cooper, pushing wide, far sideline. Babcock O'Neill. Applies just enough pressure. There's a punter's turn. A chance here at around the halfway mark.
We might be seeing the Punters, like the first half, just building that pressure here, forcing this opportunity. Really need to make sure they maintain possession of this one.
Leach has it. McFarlane beats Hogg to the upline space. Babcock O'Neill stretching the depth. Worden, a wide reset. Sheridan looking around, trying to find the next threat. It's in the middle. It's Cooper.
I like this small ball movement by the Punters, just shifting the angles of attack slightly.
McFarlane again to Worden one more time. The defense playing poach a little bit, trying to shut down the channels. They recognize the next threats. It's Muldrew. Gets a slip. Can't continue up and over. Cooper for the score, number 66.
The Punters up on their feet and excited. Also, their sideline supporters here getting their voices loud. This is exactly what I was asking for, Blair. Some of that small ball, quick give-go movement, the defense unable to set up in their usual standard conventional spaces. You see here just that movement, just those little dumps across, little cut through to the front of stack, and a lovely over the top, drawing the defender here to that front corner. The Punters still punting on this game. Have they defied the odds to get up?
I mean, we're about to find out, but I'm always a fan of the idea. History doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. Remember, we've seen a score exactly like that one earlier on in the game. Only in that instance, it was Sawyer Blair parked up in that front corner, putting the disc up and over the top of the two defenders, all the way to an open Jack Lewis.
And with the clock on 88 minutes now, we might only have a few points of this game left. I'm sure that they will want to slot a nice hold early, the Cats, to try and get up. Very interesting here, Blair. Gold medal on the line. Both teams, who wants it more?
That is the question that needs to be answered, and it's going to start with this, the pull from Bryn Douglas, nice and deep into the Wildcats' defensive half. Fielded again by Sheridan, working with Joe immediately on the trot. Another bladey shot. We're seeing the Wildcats respond the same way the Punters have broken them open in this half. Sheridan with a huge fake, goes back to find Fitzpatrick, centre field, near sideline for Whitlock. Fitzpatrick pushing again, finds Theo Moore, marked by Douglas. Forcing sideline now, losing yards, halfway mark, it's Fitzpatrick. Looking like a call has been made, unsure what has happened there, but the disc is going to go back to Fitzpatrick.
Also uncertain, but play gets underway.
Sheridan again. Jackson Joel coming back, providing the support. Big fakes. Fitzpatrick Cockram pushes into the upline. More calls. The closing matches at this moment. The 3 days of fatigue, of hard work are starting to take their toll. Sheridan to Moore. Fitzpatrick to an open hog. Some great movement here. Whitlock now getting involved. It goes up and over.
Pick call downfield, so have to see, but looks like the disc will go back to Whitlock, and an injury called as well. That is number 21, Ryan Sheridan, hobbles off.
All of his hard work finally catching up with him, to be replaced by Robertson in the downfield space.
An awkward landing there after catching the disc. A little unfortunate. So hopefully that doesn't spell the end of Sheridan's campaign with only a few minutes left on the clock. We are now up to 90 minutes, so time cap has been reached. We will finish this point and determine the point cap.
Fitzpatrick to Whitlock. Quick 1-2s. There's a slippage in the downfield. Possibly another injury.
So also just a little bit of variation you can see in this end zone. We've got some sunny patches and some shady patches, so also can make vision a little bit more tricky.
Whitlock struggling to get free. Muldrew tries to jump for it. Back to Fitzpatrick, pushing near sideline. Another pick is called.
So the punters doing a good job this point of forcing many passes. We're up to number 22 on the count.
Hogg to Fitzpatrick. Worded. An Akira slide, Tokyo drift around the offense. Right on the doorstep here.
Oh, and that was a fantastic defensive effort here, but I think he may have reached over the shoulder of Whitlock. Still very impressive by Lee, trying to get his hands to that disc. So we see a replay here on the screen. Yeah, I think probably just pushed into the shoulder of Whitlock there, trying to impede the disc. Very small spaces here. Just determining where everyone was when the foul occurred and what stall count I suspect it will be coming in on 1.
The disc is checked in. Whitlock hoping to take them one away from the win here. Over the top. Well fielded by Moore.
That was an incredible lefty scuba by Whitlock to Moore. Just using that almost slight downwind to his advantage, letting that float into Moore's hands. Realizing that all of the Ōtākaro defenders were all squeezed up into that small open side corner of the end zone. And Clark unable to chase that one down, always caught on the wrong side. That was indeed a lefty scuba, so plenty of bags of tricks from Whitlock here on display. And it will still remain a game to 15 here. Pass soft cap. Wildcats up 14-11 in the prime position to take this gold medal.
So only 1 point in it. One more break here from the Wildcats is going to let them walk away with a gold medal.
So the Wellington crowd here, blowing kisses to the crowd, showing plenty of love for those of you watching on the live stream. I'm sure those in Canterbury will also be cheering on their boys. The Punters having really outdone themselves, beating their seed well and truly to make it their first final here in the New Zealand Ultimate Championships. Whatever happens to finish this game, they can be really proud of the play that they've put up throughout this tournament.
Owen with the pull for the Wildcats, but it's Sawyer Blair and Tavish Dempster starting things off. Van Turnhout aggressive on defense. A miscommunication. O'Hara not able to reel that one in. They can't afford to give it up. It's Keddy at the halfway mark. Clark on defense. Van Turnhout gets it. Some quick 1-2s, short movement, trying to scramble the defense. Jadeja with it. Can't get around. Goes wide. Mance with the disc now. Back to Keddy. Can't work the far sideline. Offense is scrambling, resets. Leishman now working the sideline. Jadeja with a big layout to keep it in hands. O'Hara on defense. Jadeja using his offhand, trying to call for disc movement. Keddy.
The Punters doing really well to pin the Wildcats back, make them throw side to side. Surely they can generate an opportunity. This is high pressure stuff.
Goes back to Keddy. Mance making a cut to the near sideline on the break side. Can't connect. Keddy putting it through to Van Bergen. Enough of a touch from McKenzie, but there's going to be a foul call. You can hear the roar of disappointment from the sideline, hoping that was going to be a clean block.
Very impressed by the Punters here. As you can see, the Wildcats forced to use a type of throw that they probably haven't used so much. And you can see both boys getting up high, getting their hands on the disc, really difficult to tell. Looked like it was a pretty clean swipe. So we see the replay again. Both hands, I don't know if there was much contact in terms of the arm or the hand. Difficult to tell in terms of the shoulder. Was there maybe a touch on the arm? Was it enough to actually affect the bit on the disc?
And a swarm of players from both sides joining us in the commentary booth, staring over our shoulders, trying to get a good sense for the replay to see whether there's any information they can take back to help their teammates resolve this call as we move into the thrilling conclusion of our final match.
Great work by our camera crew here, capturing those images on screen and then slowing it down to see if we can pinpoint the moment where we can detect the contact. Looks like he got hands to it, but the disc was kind of shifted in angle and not surprisingly comes back as a contested call. So the disc will come back in.
A great throw by Keddy in the first instance, if nothing else, finding that little inside channel, signaling for Van Turnhout. Stalled out. No contest.
And there's a bit more talk here.
Some contest.
Just clarifying the rules. That does...
Looks like the turnover's going to stand. You only have to play 10 good seconds of defense, folks. Sawyer Blair to an open Dempster. Threads through to Clark. McKenzie now, near sideline. Big shot up. Bowen bids. Chung tries for it. Van Bergen gets up.
That is the third time they've looked to Chung in that deep space. This time, 3 out of 3, unfortunately unable to capture that one. He was put under plenty of pressure. That disc had so much float to it, allowed 2 defenders to get around and apply pressure. In the end, just not having positional advantage in that bid.
Keddy again, forced towards the near sideline by Dempster. Goes up and around, finds Van Turnhout. Clark gets in the way of the continuation. He puts it up anyway, looking for Bowen. 2 pursuers. McKenzie's closest. It's enough. There's a turn.
And you can hear the crowd roar. They want to see the underdogs extend this game for a bit longer. Punters showing they've got plenty of spirit to run this game out.
Dempster with it, far sideline, finds McKenzie again, doing a huge amount of work for the Punters. Fakes off Dempster to stretch the downfield. O'Hara slams on the brakes. It's going to be Blair on the far sideline with the disc, coming back around. Little bit of float, but it's a good position to work from. O'Hara has it. Marked by Mance. Van Bergen closes down the reset. Up and over for Sawyer Blair. Laser show the middle. Clark with a little bit of a spin there. Coming through, finding McKenzie. Close to the end zone. The pressure is building. Comes back to find Chung. Break throws, back to back. It's O'Hara now, center field. Taylor, through to Chung, on the doorstep. Puts the hammer up, it's the blade instead. Dempster with it to bring it back within 2.
No way. I thought the punters had let their heads drop after they turned it over very early in this point, but showed heaps of determination and grit to earn this disc back. In the end, just remaining very patient on offense again. Here we go, a lovely inside channel. That one goes through to Chung, and then just spying that his receiver was wide open. The defender's just overbiting on that center of the field, center of the end zone rather.
Yeah, and as you say, Avril, it's right here. Unmarked Dempster in the end zone, the outside in forehand, up and over for a great score.
Dempster now with 1 goal and 2 assists. He has been working so hard for the Punters. He's been one of the reasons why they have kept in touch with the Wildcats and managed to still have a bite at the cherry here. So it's 12-14. If the Punters want to extend this game, they're going to have to force another break.
And from what we've seen from the Wildcats offense, that is an almost impossible thing to do. 2 points in it at the moment.
The Punters, a very similar looking line out there. You've got Chung, Clark, O'Hara all on the line now. So really pushing the last of their energy and reserves here, getting their top shelf of players ready to try and earn this valuable break.
McFarlane with the disc for the pull. Huge chase from Clark. Miles of separation, trying to stop the first pass. Sheridan back on the field.
The chance of defense going up from the punter sideline.
Moore gets it away to Fitzpatrick. Whitlock far sideline. Puts a shot up. Looking for Joe. Hogg there for support. Hogg's got it.
And that is the Wildcats with the big W and the win at home in Wellington. The top seeds show again why they are the champions, ruling the roost here in their hometown. And the Punters, they can't be disappointed overall with the results in this competition, but right now, devastating. You can feel the emotion and how hard they've worked to make it to this grand final match.
And what a match it was. The swings went in both directions. The momentum, a constant swirl, backwards and forwards, as turbulent as the Wellington winds. But Hogg is the one under double coverage who came down with that. We see again Whitlock putting the bomb up. This was it. Everything hung on this pass. And Hogg goes up and gets it, coming down with a medal around his neck. What a phenomenal display to close out our tournament, the 2025 New Zealand Ultimate Championships here at Awakarangi Park. With the proud support of ULTI.TV. If you like what you see, you want to help us keep bringing the very best sport in the world to your screens, head on over to patreon.com/ULTI.TV and give us your spare change. But for the last time, until the next time, my name is Blair Munro.
And this is Avril Tam signing off for ULTI.TV 2025.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
ULTI.TV.
Tyler died for this. Harry died for this. Okay, who's doing it?